So hey everyone, welcome back to the Business and Bubble Tea podcast. For this season's second episode, we're thrilled to welcome once again a guest who has left a lasting impression for the first time that he was here with us. And it's Erdi Tac. He's the co-founder of Cathoven AI, a cutting-edge platform that is transforming language education with artificial intelligence. So in our previous episode, we got a glimpse of his incredible journey from engineering to entrepreneurship, and we explored how his studying experience here in China led his path towards building a tool that is now being used by educators all around the world. So today, Erdi is back with us to share fresh insights into his entrepreneurial adventure. He will be telling us more about the challenges he has been facing so far, the growth of Cathoven AI, and what lies ahead for this groundbreaking platform. So I would just propose to dive right into the conversation. How have you been doing, Erdi?
Well, thank you, Giancarlo. It's very nice, and thanks for having me again.
We're just happy to have you here. I think Alina also agrees.
For sure. It's happy to hear you, to see you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to have a good way to create a sequel with our first founder and to see how a company can evolve so fast and so well. So I think it would be really cool to just get to know all of the ideas that we have been discussing so far already. But maybe just to start a little bit this conversation in a smooth way, would it be just a way to start presenting you a little bit about yourself, your story, what led you to this project, and very quickly so that people that have not had the opportunity to see the former video can just get to know you a little bit better?
Sure, I'm Erdi from Turkey, and I studied engineering and came to China and then did a management master in PHBS, and after that I started working right away, and since then 9 years in Shenzhen. And the first idea of Cathoven come from my previous company where I used to work. They make tablets for children to learn English and Chinese. And I was working there as a tech consultant, but eventually evolved into product manager. And then lastly, when I left, I was the AI product manager. And when we were there, I met a co-founder where we did the project together. And we are like, okay, there is a problem here about, understanding the level of certain content. And that's where we started doing some, development after work. And eventually in May 2022, we decided to leave the company and start Cathoven. Yeah, it's a tool for language teachers.
You took the first entrepreneurial journey in PHBS, right? And with the project that called Neuro. Could you start with this one and tell us a little bit more about this project, how it happened?
It's one of my best memories in China, to be honest. So the whole thing happened when there was a competition called HALT Prize. HALT Prize is something called by American President Clinton. Yeah, it's by him, and then they have chapters in each country, and then eventually the winners of the country would go to US. So we were like, okay, we're gonna join. And then during that time, we had 3 management masters, 1 economics master students come together, and each one assumed a role. And because of my technical role, I was the CTO, just build the product,
Very normal.
Yeah, we did it. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Well, we did it. And we actually cooperated with HIT, the Harbin Institute of Technology. We got some engineers from there.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
it was going good. So the Neuro is an idea of providing free high-speed Wi-Fi and then let people watch, some ads and then make money this way. We worked on it for a year until we realized for foreigners it's not a good idea to provide Wi-Fi or internet connection in China.
It's it's a very ambitious project. It's just a very regulated sector from the beginning. So it's good that you did it. I think it's a very good experience to have. But of course, eventually you have to meet the first challenges, and it's pretty cool to at least have had that good of an adventure, I suppose.
Absolutely. And then with Neuro, I kind of had the feeling of, you have the idea, and if you have the technical knowledge, all you need to do is just do it. But you gotta have the market for it. So that was the first learning, maybe. But
Okay.
it encouraged me. It made me think that it is easy to do, the entrepreneurship and starting a company.
Okay.
And then and also I learned the importance of team and then division of work. Like we had really nice team of one person concentrates on sales and really good at that. Another person marketing. Oh my God, you should watch one of the videos that he made. He literally turned the famous Apple advertisement into our video. You would have goosebumps when you watch it. That good. And then I was the technical person, and then we had a guy who puts everyone together. Yeah. So I don't know. It was really nice. You just kick the memories. I can't stop talking about it.
Yes. Just tell us a little bit how it happened and what motivated this decision, so that we can see a little bit forward.
Yeah. And after neuro, I couldn't stop myself, but okay, let's build, something new and else. And that was the time when I decided to go back to Turkey and then revive that idea of sharing, secrets and so on. We went up to 40,000 users, and that we made some nice money. But eventually, I figured out it's it's a very, very competitive market, more like social media. Mm-hmm. And I made a decision. I build something that will have a technological edge, or otherwise I'm not doing this entrepreneurial thing again. So I decided to quit and sold the company to a person. Then I just sold it and then come back to China, because I kept thinking about China, and Shenzhen is the technology lives there basically.
Yeah, we see. And then when you and after when you come back to Shenzhen, right, you started the position as a product manager, right? So, and what motivated you start to work in a company, not start something your own, just come back and start again, your business? Why you did join the company actually?
Actually, very good question. So I sit down and I made that, I said, okay, I'm confused about what to do in life, so what will be my mission? And when I talked to people, they told me I'm good at teaching, because I do voluntary teaching all the time when I was in bachelor and I was in PHBS and all the time. So I used to teach math there, and then I teach English in China. I even get my friends' children and do so. If this is it, then my purpose in life probably gonna be about teaching, and I am passionate about language learning. So I'm okay, this is the industry. So we decided that. Next, as I told you, I decided not to start another business without having a really good technology behind it, but also other things I learned during the entrepreneurial journey. You need to have a really good network. You need to build the network. And then I don't really have too much network in the education industry. I don't exactly know what is going on or happening. So I'm okay, I'm gonna go put my head down, do the good work, build my network. And that's why I started to work for this company, which had a similar mindset with what I would like to build in the future.
Do you have a specific idea of a specific gap in the language learning industry that would have motivated you to create this kind of business? Or did you learn it throughout your own network that you were building at that moment?
I am fortunate to be able to apply this naturally. And now, for example, if someone comes and tell me how should I build a company, I'm go start finding a problem first. And I was lucky enough, I had this really nice network after many years of working in educational industry, right? And I ask teachers, I ask language training centers, and interact with other companies that are the customers of the company that I used to work. And so at one point, the company hired 50 people, 50 language teachers. They split the English levels into 1,000 different levels, and they purchased this huge, massive amount of language teaching content, and they was trying to put them by showing the teachers, saying which one is more difficult, which one is easy. And they put it into those levels. And it was horrible. It was horrible because forget about two teachers agreeing with each other. You're talking about 50 different teachers deciding what is difficult, what is easy. And that is where I'm like, isn't there a tool for this? No, there wasn't. And I said, AI is there. We have been working on it, since 2019, 2021. And I convinced the guys to build a small project, which was the root of Cathoven. That was the point where we are like, okay, we have something there and we can build some strong technology. And that is how it came to life, by seeing it firsthand and then verifying with other teachers.
What makes you different?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that easily though, but let me, at the very time out of the company, our own old company was our first customer. So we had the customer there to prove that the idea works. And we worked on building those models, which are like our own models that understands how difficult a video or a text or audio is. And this itself as a technology is very unique to us. Like you go out in the market, you will not find anyone doing this. They don't even dare to start doing, because it's kind of, it requires a lot of like combination of language teaching, AI, engineering all together. So now if you look at the market, everyone is using AI, but when they say AI, it's basically one of the large language models, right? Our customers use large language models too. And after they realize the large language models don't have and will never have the capability of analyzing content and telling you the exact difficulty, because it's important, the accuracy, they come to us. I'll give you an example. We have a customer who's building an AI speaking training. Maybe you heard of it, like nowadays it's kind of popular. There are many, not just one. Everyone's first idea is this. So they try to use the large language models, like ChatGPT's OpenAI actually, the API, or Claude, and they realize the answers were, when they are creating a response to the student, sometimes it's too difficult, sometimes it's too easy, and they tried their best to fine-tune prompts, do the prompts very well, fine-tune some models, and it didn't work, and eventually came to us to, when the AI is generating something, we transform it into the right level. So this was the long way of answering your question. We build a technology that is a really strong need in language learning. Like, you don't understand 90% of what you are reading or what you are studying is out of your range. It's really important in language learning. And then we have that technology now. And that's what makes us still a lot, keep forward and even cooperate with big companies.
We've seen that you have developed throughout time a good network, like have you already explained to us. We've seen, for instance, that you have been recognized by leading universities like Columbia and UC Berkeley, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is actually that's a very big step, I would say. It's a very big value of legitimacy. What would you say were the key steps for you to build this kind of credibility, and how did you create this good reputation so that you can actually get these kind of partnerships?
Happened naturally because we were all science-based. And the teachers in Columbia, if you look at the ones who are using us, they rely on the products that have scientific background. And then you see, when we first built this difficulty tool, it's not just for teachers. Researchers started to use Cathoven when they are doing research.
Really?
They want to, exactly. So statistically, when they are trying to prove some importance, they will use Cathoven as a reference of point for text difficulty or audio difficulty. And when you are like that, and when you search Cathoven on Google Scholar and it comes out, people in big universities, they eventually hear your name.
Am I wrong to say that it started more for like regular professors, and it came to get also the hand into academia later on? Did you think that this could actually happen? Did you predict that it was going to go more onto the academia side of things?
Absolutely. The funny thing, me and my co-founder, unlike any startup that you will find there, we were reading research papers every single day. So it was really hardcore technology that is just not built yet. We were even about to publish a paper, but we got too busy with Cathoven. So we are like, okay, let's do it internally for now. So it was already academic, very academic. And then that's why it led to that way, make it easier for the academicians to connect with us or like have that same feeling.
So it was already a bit created into the heart of Cathoven AI, but it was not ready to express itself at the beginning. But I guess that the partnership made it go even faster, so that it's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started to see in Japan, even in Turkey, my home country, some Chinese universities, Beijing foreign, what is it? Beijing Waigu Dashi, like one of the most famous language learning university.
That's nice. So, and can you just like maybe briefly introduce your vision on Cathoven? Like, what do you want from this from this company, like for future? Maybe expand in other sector, other industry, or how this can scale, and what's your vision on this?
When you asked me how did I decide to go into the business, actually around that time, I see a problem in language learning. Like in China, for example, if you see kids or students, they are studying like 5-6 years and still not speaking the language. And I believe both of you are, as a second language learner, the language is not learned the way that is taught. And we were thinking any app that comes out is basically replicating similar mindset of the study of a language. For us, from the very beginning in Cathoven, because in Cathoven, every founder speaks 3 to 5 languages. So everyone knows how it works. We believe if you want to learn language, you need to go, you watch videos, you need to go and then chat with some people who speak that language. You need to read, you need to immerse yourself in the language. But then there was no really good tool to be able to make that happen. For us, we build the core technology now. Okay, the core technology of understanding what is difficult, changing the content of an audio or a text. So what will happen? Let me tell you. Let's say you are playing a game. And there are some people who learns by playing games. But the problem there is sometimes you don't understand at all. And Cathoven is going to plug in and it is going to change the content of the game so you understand around 95% of it. This information will be carried with you when you go and read some news or anything, and we will just adjust the level of it so that you can understand the game. It will create a podcast for you, for example, that you will understand very well. All these to happen, we needed the technology that we are building now. Still, we didn't finish. We have like 2 more to complete. 360 speaking, writing, listening and reading. Once we complete all these, we still want to provide our technology to others, but eventually we might also we will create all these plugins where Cathoven plugs into your life naturally. So you are naturally motivated and learn the language like the way that is actually learned.
I was also very curious to know a little bit about your global expansion. If I've understood right, you're expanding a lot in different countries, including the US. And maybe I was just curious because you have a very international background yourself. You're from Turkey, you studied in China, but you also have a very good understanding of the US market. Is there any specific features that really drove you to a specific place, including investment opportunities or market demand? Could you clarify us how this is in your mind?
Sure. For us, at the very beginning, we opened Cathoven to the world, and then as you see, it started picking up from the academia first, right? And then even though we have been working with some companies, right? What happened? Interestingly, that I would never expect. We started to have a lot of users from US. And then eventually, once it come to a more mature state, around 40% of the users were from the US. I'm like, why is this happening? Because it was strange. Like, who is learning languages in the US? Apparently, there are 3 million new immigrants coming to the US every single year, and they need to learn the language. And the community colleges there and the universities need to accommodate those. And that's how they were using Cathoven. Cathoven actually speeds up the learning. There is a research by a Polish university that proved that when they use Cathoven, students learn much faster. So there is even a research for that. And then that's how it happened. If you look at it, weirdly, the American market for language learning it can compete with many other big language learning markets. So that's how it happened. I didn't know it until we see the users and then do some research. Yeah.
True. I mean, that's actually one of the best opportunities, like market-driven demand. Like, it's good to get a positive signal and just use that signal as an opportunity for further growth. So I think you, as a good entrepreneur, that's how you would probably process.
Right. Like, whenever we are trying to build even a new feature, now we do it much better, right? Like, we have a big base of features, we go and then chat with them, we're going to come up with what problem we are solving, and then here's the potential feature that we are going to come up with. So before we even build it, we know it has a high demand. So for example, the latest one for IELTS, which is an exam, IELTS writing reviser, it just gives you a score. You cannot find any tool like this in the world. No one builds a tool that can score your writing that accurately. And then we knew it has a market even before we started building the tool, because of that's how it is going.
Now interesting to move more towards your own vision of what made you an entrepreneur yourself, what lessons you learned throughout your journey, and maybe more or less just dive into the challenges and decisions that first shaped your entrepreneurial path. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced, particularly as a non-entrepreneur in the US, and how did you really overcome them?
The biggest parts that I need to, or as a company, we need to tackle keeps changing every month, and we need to adapt to it. I'll give you an example. At the very beginning, for example, our biggest challenge is to be able to implement a research and make it a product. And then we were heads down, and then we were we need to build the technology. Then comes the time, okay, now we need to use that build the product and shape it in a way that is going to be used by others. And it requires a completely different skill set, get the investment, build the team. And for me, I believe the biggest challenge comes with the team building, because at the very beginning I thought if we bring in very talented people, just go and find really good best people, they're talented, you put them together, eventually it will work out. It was an illusion, until some problems happened. and now what I can say, one of my biggest learning there is I don't look for the people who are the best at their job, but the people who fit in our Cathoven culture, that doesn't destroy or disrupt others. This is the biggest thing, the biggest challenge. It was really painful to go through for a short period of time, and I didn't learn it in my previous startups until Cathoven. And then to be able to adjust to this, to be able to define the culture and make you find a really, really good person, really talented, and then you need to say no to them because you can see after a while they're gonna destroy your culture, is painful, still painful for me. And I think I'm still learning how to, even let others function around the culture. I'm still in the learning path.
Actually, really insightful lesson, because always people looking for the best of the best, right? The brightest people, and then actually it doesn't work, and it's just not a match. And this is actually very insightful for those who just at the beginning of the journey, just maybe like to find some trustful people, right? Like not chasing somebody like who is just like brilliant as you think, maybe just like people that are exactly right for your team are near you, and you just like yeah. Maybe you can give our students some other advices that can help them, for example, from the very beginning of the journey. So we know like you need to be patient, right? You need to build a right team, and you need to understand how to do it. You need to do some work by yourself, so right, to do research, and you need to be a professional in your
based on my own experience, though, not everyone would, there's no one certain path. But if you are going to build a company in an industry that you are not super experienced in, just, give yourself a time, go work for a company. Like, go find a company in that industry, find a company that you are gonna learn from, not like the top companies, because I was chasing the top companies in China, and then eventually I give up because I realized it's not gonna happen based on my talks with my friends. I'm just gonna be limited in my,
Span.
in my position. So it is actually a risk. It's a risk from the very beginning to go for not the top company, but a company that is in the middle, and then it will give you the flexibility of moving between positions and learning. This is probably an advice I would give to anyone that wants to start a company in a certain industry. Or if you don't have an industry in mind, it's also good, because then you go there, you build your network, you try to find a co-founder, because the co-founder, I believe you need to at least know for at least 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Or things don't work. Things don't work. And if you work with them already, if you already work with them, if they are your colleagues or that is the best possible co-founder that you can find. Because friends, sometimes it's like, they say, if you stay in the same room with your friend, you will start to hate each other. So you don't know if you are gonna, friendships might break when you start a business. But when you do it with your colleague, it's already there. You have been doing it together for a while.
I think I agree with that, because the fact is the colleague is forced to see the best and the worst of you at the same time. So they are basically already used to seeing you, how you would potentially behave. And the thing about a friendship is it's amazing. A friend can be an amazing friend, but if you have to put him into the situation where there's a lot of stress and emergency, it just won't maybe always work. And you will always have some kind of blocking situation where you cannot be as direct as you wish you were, because you don't want to be too unfriendly with who you know. So I think that's a good starting point, and I think I agree with you. 2 or 3. I do believe that the love at first sight doesn't exist either. Like, you need to at least know the person a little bit. You cannot just say, "Oh, hey, I saw you. You seem to be the good person. Let's meet up and create a business." I wish it could be that way, but I don't think it's.
It worked out for some people, right? Like, it worked out for some people. And I'm here basically to decrease your risk of failure. So if you go with this path, probably the failure rate will be lower.
I think it's really true. And I think it's actually a very valuable lesson for at least a lot of students here at PHBS, because I think there's a lot of people here, for instance, that want to create something, that they have a lot of talent to do so, but they just simply don't have the social or the social smart to start by themselves. They have a lot of ideas, but they do not necessarily know how to approach them. So I think having this kind of experience is it's for a lot of students, I would say, pure gold. So I think it's a very good way to progressively just go to the end of this podcast. I think we have more or less reviewed a lot of different factors, a lot of different ideas to think upon. There's a lot that our students can gain from this experience.
Yeah, thank you very much from my side. Like, I'm very grateful for these conversations.
I'm happy that you like it, and I hope it will be useful for others as well. And thanks for having me again, by the way. It's really nice chat with you. You have a really nice energy, both of you.
Thank you. It's happy that you give us room to grow, and we're very happy to continue on forward with our podcast this way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say then it was really nice to have all a chat with all together, and let's see how it goes, and we'll meet for the next episode next time. Have a good day, everybody, and it was really nice to meet you all.
Bye-bye.